I almost thought we were going to get some rain today. Kind of blew over real fast. Hi, welcome to the Daddykirbs farm, and this is another fun episode of beekeeping on the Daddykirbs farm. We're going to go out pretty light today, no equipment, just a smoker. Well, not much equipment. Smoker and a hive tool. Whoop. Under the electrical wire. Hey, horses. That's Teo and Maggie right there. Hey, Teo. Hey, Maggie. We're just going to be peeking into a couple hives, seeing how they're doing. I got the smoker lit early, hoping it stays lit. Did something a little different this time. I'm using the burlap instead of the wood chips. In last week's video, when I was talking about barriers, you suggested perhaps I was whining too much or I wasn't making time for something. And that is actually not what I meant. It was simply about removing barriers to the projects so that you can get them done. But if you want to think I was whining, that's fine too. Here we are in the Daddykirbs Beeyard, the apiary. I don't see a lot of bees on this one. This is the one that we reduced down to one box last week. Let's see if it still has bees in it. There's definitely bees. It looks like there's a good number of bees right here in the top. Let's crack the top seal and see how they're doing. If they filled all those frames in, I may have to go back to the house and get another box. Didn't think that was going to happen, but it may have. Alright, I don't think they filled it all up, but they definitely are congregating here in the middle. Of course, that's where the brood nest is. That's what we expect. I don't see any wax moth. You know, like we did last time, the wax moths that were on top. I don't see them here, scraping some of this comb off the top. I did see one beetle. Let's go ahead and pull a frame here, just to see what it looks like. Okay, it doesn't look like they've done a lot of building since last week, so they're just kind of hanging on, and that's good. I mean, it would be really good if they were actually filling it with honey or brood, but for now, I'm satisfied just to see that they're maintaining, doing okay, because we still haven't had any. Hold on. That was my mom. I'm gonna not do a whole lot in this hive. It looks fine. There's no need to dig around. The bees are maintaining, and I think we'll be okay for another couple of weeks. The bees on the entrances of the vertical hives look pretty good. Over here, of course, we just checked one vertical hive, but we're going to check these three. We're going to get into the top boxes just to see how they're building or bringing in resources. I don't think there's a lot yet out for them, but maybe within a few miles they are finding resources and they're building comb, honey, pollen, nectar. That's what I want to see. So we're not going to dig in too deep. We're just going to check these top boxes. My burlap fuel stopped smoking. I tried to relight it with my gloves on. Bad idea. Bad idea. Don't do that. Some people have a whole lot of luck with burlap. This is the first time I've really used it. So, letting it get in there and get smoking a little bit. Get lit. There we go. That's what it's supposed to look like. Let's try again. We're going to open this hive right here. I had high hopes for this tape that I'm using to seal up the holes in my veil. It felt really sticky. I thought it was going to be good stuff, and so far, not really. It's kind of peeling off. It was in storage for a week, and it just started coming up. So I'm going to have to find another solution. Some people are saying Velcro, and I still want to try super glue. I'm just going to see if that'll work. Bees are very active at the top of this one. Again, I may have to put another box on. This one's looking really full. Oh yeah. Look at all those bees. That's a lot of bees. That looks really good. So let's see what they're doing on these frames here. Okay, one side is honey. Looks like it's got some new honey in it, probably a lot from last time, same stuff. This side is completely drawn out, but no pollen, no nectar, so they still have room there. Let's get our frame hanger on here. That one feels pretty heavy. So that's a lot of honey in there, some capped, some uncapped. Same thing on this side, so that's a nice looking frame of honey. Up here in this one, looks like they might have some brood in it. Yep, that's a frame of brood. Let's see if I see any eggs. I see larvae, a lot of larvae, a lot of capped larvae, a lot of uncapped larvae, I guess pupa if it's capped. And they have honey on that side. So they have brood on one side, honey on the other. Alright, so that's honey and honey. So they are bringing in some nectar. There's some new nectar in there. They still have quite a bit of room. Not quite a bit, but some room. They will need a box soon. I'm going to go ahead and push these back over. I'm going to pull one from this other side just to see how they're doing down here. And that is a whole lot of pollen on this side. They're really putting that, making that bee bread. Same thing on this side. So they are really packing away the pollen. They have some honey on this side. Bringing in the resources. That's good to see. Let me do one more down here. Whoop, that was kind of stuck to the frame below it. Sorry. That's a bunch of brood on both sides. So could be a queen on here. They got a lot of pollen, a lot of that bee bread, and brood. Alright, sorry girls. Alright, let me put them back. So they brought a lot of brood, not a lot, but they brought brood up in that second box. So I probably should go ahead and put a box on. I didn't bring any out with me right now. I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to go back. Now we're going to try to get into this second box here. See how they're doing. Still going? Yeah. So this is 2 deeps and a medium here. Already I can tell you that just by the top, looking at the top, they're not as full in this top box as this one over here was. Checking the top, making sure there's no queen hanging out, just to be sure. Yeah, so this one has the queen excluder and then the honey frames on top, or the super on top. That's that real fat piece of honey right there. That one's going to be hard to work around because it's going to get built in. I really should just take that one to the house. I think I might do that. I might go ahead and take that one to the house. Let me set that aside. Of course, I didn't bring a frame to replace it with. So they have empty frames, lots of empty frames up here. Lots of propolis. Propolis is the sticky glue substance that they put everything together with. Another big fat honey frame right there. They're building that one kind of funny. So that's two of them that I probably should just take back to the house, get the honey out of it, scrape that down, and let them rebuild. That one's very full and also very fat. So they're doing that. Oh boy, look at that. I broke a piece off the corner. Broke a piece off the corner there. You see that? Makes me want to taste it. But I'll save it. So this whole box up here, they're building on honey. They're not doing it very uniformly, very nicely, but they are building on honey, or building honey on the comb. Whew, look at that fat frame. Man, that's a lot of honey on that one. How many times have I said that? That's a lot of honey. I'm going to have to bring some frames out, because I am going to take these 3 frames hanging right here. I'm going to take those back to the house. Should have brought a box. Should have done a lot of things. Seems like I never planned quite right. Alright, we're going to take a little break because I'm going to run back to the house and get a box that I can carry these honey frames in. That way I'm not leaving them out and dripping all over the place. I'll be right back. I'm back. I brought a box for the honey frames, and I also brought a box to put on top of this second hive that we looked at over here. Since we've moved those wonky honeycombs, oh, you know what I didn't do? Man, I didn't bring the extra frames to fill in what I took out up here. Well, instead of putting that box on this frame over here, I'm just going to take a few frames, put in here. Poor planning. Wastes a lot of energy. There we go. So this one should be fine. Actually, I'm going to take this box off the top, look into the second one, just to see how they're doing on resources on that middle box. This is the queen excluder, so we'll be checking under here. This is that, checking out the beetle trap, the towel trap. And there are some beetles stuck in there, so that's good. Just going to leave that there, leave it alone. They have some nectar going in here, making some honey on the top of this frame. Some good draw-on comb on the side of that one, on the other side. Looks like they're making some decent honey. Building out the comb on that side. Completely empty over here. So they have room to work. Got a queen cup on the bottom of that one. Lots and lots of pollen. So they have been finding pollen. There's lots of pollen in here. That's very good. Bees eat the bee bread that they make from fermented pollen. And there's the brood. Checking for eggs. There's lots of little larvae. I don't see eggs. Sometimes it's hard to see. I'm pretty comfortable with what I'm seeing already in this hive. I think this hive's doing pretty well. There we go with more pollen. More eggs. There's eggs and larvae, young larvae. So this is a new brood nest frame right here. They have several queen cups on the side. No eggs or anything in those, just queen cups. Okay, I'm going to put this one back together. I think they're doing fine. We'll put our queen excluder back on. I really do prefer the metal excluders, but I have 4 or 5 of these plastic ones that I use just because I have them. Alright, this one is ready to go. I feel good about that hive. It looked nice. Very nice. Alright, we're going to come over here to this taller hive here. It's a double deep with the queen excluder and then 2 deeps, or 2 mediums. Looks like that's 2 different size mediums on there. I got rid of all of the 7 5/8 frames except for apparently, or boxes and frames, except for apparently this one. I'll get rid of that one too. But right now it's here. A lot of bees on top. I don't see any beetles on top. That's good. A lot of times there's beetles right on top of that inner cover. Checking the lid, the inner cover. Those queens can be anywhere, so we're just checking to make sure she's not up here on vacation. No, I don't see any beetles. That's very good. We're going to start over here because this side looks less full. Is more empty or less full? Which one's more negative? More empty or less full? Alright, so I got some comb drawn over there, a little bit of nectar and honey going on over here. Not much, just a little. And that's an empty frame. Ooh, heavy. Nice. That one's full of honey right there. That is a good looking frame of honey on one side. On the other side, it's a lot of nectar. A lot of nectar. And then as we go through here, it looks like more honey, more honey, more honey, and then right here on this one we get it's about half full of honey. So we had 3 full frames or nearly full frames, and this one is about half full on one side and about less than a quarter full on the other side. So they're doing good work up here. That one's about 80% full. Then we have another empty one. All right, they're looking good. I'm gonna put all this back on and then check this box down below. I'm not gonna get down below the queen excluder on this one. I just don't feel like I have to. At least not yet, I don't feel like I have to. We'll see what's in that lower box. And then we'll get into that horizontal hive. Some of you are probably skipping through the video just to see what's going on in that horizontal hive. But you gotta be patient. It's not the only hive I have. Here we go, looks good with honey on one side, empty comb on the other. Oh, there's a beetle. We don't like the beetles. Makes for a hard day's night, 8 days a week. All right. More honey. More honey. That's kind of the theme right now. Feel pretty comfortable with this hive. It seems as if they have a lot of resources and activity. They have space up here. I actually think I probably could take that medium box and put it on that other hive over there and just let this hive fill out this one. I might do that. I think I'm going to do that. All right, let me give you a different view and I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. So this hive right here had 4 boxes. Above the queen excluder there were 2 medium boxes, a 7 5/8 and a 6 5/8. I'm going to take the 6 5/8 and move it on down here and let the bees fill up this one and give this one a little more room because it looked like maybe they needed it. Now we can get into this horizontal hive. I know that's what you've been waiting for. Looks like there's a good number of bees hanging out on there. There's also a little garden spider waiting for her next meal. And a stink bug. But we're concerned with the bees. Oh, see, we had a problem. I didn't put that bee escape or any sort of bee escape. So all the bees that got stuck up here stayed up here and perished. That's not good. That's a good visual lesson for me. I need to make some kind of way for the bees to get out, those who get trapped, so that when I close this lid, we're not getting a bunch of dead bees. Pull a couple of these frames off, or inner cover boards, making sure there's no queen on there. Got one beetle. This is a frame of honey. Just going to stack it up here out of the way for a minute. Looks like there's plenty of bees. Let me check down here at the end. Another good frame where they're building honey. That's on both sides. They got some comb, a little bit of comb and honey going in there. See another beetle in here. So we're just going to pull these out one by one, look at them, and then scoot them this way. Oh, that one's heavy. That's a lot of honey on that one. And that's one where they're building that extra comb on the bottom, because this is one of the 7 5/8 frames, so they're building that extra comb on the bottom. Yeah, they're bringing nectar and pollen in here, so that's good. I don't know if you can tell from your view through the camera that these bees are more gentle, less aggressive. And they're the same bees. They're the same bees that were in a vertical hive. So it's not like, you know, somehow I got way different genetics going on. It's just, I think it's the style of the hive. They tend to be a little less defensive to this style of hive than they do the vertical hive. There's less disruption, less banging around. And I'm not even being especially gentle here, but just by the design of the hive, I think that the bees are less irritated, less, you know, bumped up, banged around, whatever. So it looks like they have pollen, actually not a lot of pollen, mostly nectar and honey. On a lot of these frames down here, some of these frames started out with honey, so that's not surprising because I put it in here like that, but let's see. Here we are down at the end of this one. The last board, last frame. And they have a lot of nectar in this one. There we go. That's where all the activity is down here. Very good. Okay, we're gonna pull. Okay, on this one, I don't see brood, but I see a lot of pollen and a lot of nectar. A lot of nectar. They're bringing in resources from somewhere. I'm not feeding these bees, so there's no sugar water. This is all nectar from flowers, so they're finding it from somewhere. Alright, let's pull one more, then we'll just put this one away. We'll be satisfied. Okay, they're building on, this is one of those 7 5/8, and I see my queen. I'm going to put her back. I don't want to, I saw her, the hive looks good, I feel pretty good about it. And we'll put these cover boards back on. We do have to figure out how to give these bees an escape, but I don't want to give a really obvious entrance to bees that are trying to come, you know, in from the outside. I don't want them coming in and building comb on the top of this thing. I don't know if they would or not, but just in case. I think what I'm going to try is I'm going to put a hole in this screen right here. Hopefully the bees can get out, but other bees from the outside won't be tempted to come in there. I have no idea if this is going to work. tell, but now there's a hole plenty big enough for a bee to get through. Hopefully that'll give them a way to get out and not a real tempting entrance for them to get in. Well, there you go. That's the bee condition, the condition of the bees here in the bee yard at Daddykirbs Farm. I have a lot to learn. The bees are teaching me. So for now, we're going to get that one box. Where did it go? Right there. That box, we're going to take it back to the house because there's a little bit of honey in there that we're going to take. Woo! Oh, that scared me. That's called weesatch. Those long needles just poked me through my jacket and I thought I had a bee in my jacket. Alright, so that is a good place to leave you guys by saying, I believe everyone has a story and every story counts. I believe your story counts because you count. I truly do believe that your story is important. Share that with the people around you. Thank you so much for being a part of my story through this video and letting me be a part of yours. I'll talk to you soon.